Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to Vibe Fashion's YouTube channel. My name is Eunice. In this video, we'll be learning how to make this beautiful two-piece outfit you see the lady wearing on the screen. It's a high-low flared skirt with cargo pockets on the side, and it also has this center front slit on the skirt part. The top is a crop top with placket at the center front. If this is something you are interested in learning, please ensure to keep on watching till the end. And if you're yet to subscribe to my channel, please kindly click on the subscribe button to subscribe and ensure you put on your notification bell so you get a notification every time I upload a new video. And if you find this video helpful, please ensure to leave a comment, share this video, like this video. Thank you, and let's get started. I'll be making use of this Ankara fabric for this project, and here I have 6 yards of Ankara. We're going to start with drafting the skirt first. And to draft the skirt, you need the waist measurement. And here the round waist measurement I'm working with is 34 inches. You also need the length of the skirt, and the front length of the skirt is 40 inches. That's plus my hemming allowance of 1 inch, and the back length is going to be 45 inches. So right now I have my fabric spread out on the table. I'm going to fold it on bias to achieve the flared skirt. And I'll be folding it in a slanted way, which is on bias. So you determine how wide you want the skirt to be. And for the down part, I'm making it 28 inches wide. You can make this wider depending on the amount of fabric you are working with. So here I'm using 28 inches. You can make it wider like I earlier said. Okay, so with that being said, you can see that the upper part of my fabric is longer than the down part. So I'm going to draw a straight line, making sure it aligns with the one underneath. Having drawn the straight line, this is going to serve as the waistline. So on this line, I'm going to enter the waist measurement divided by 4 plus 1 inch for sewing allowance. So having marked that, I'm going to bring in my straight ruler and connect from this waist measurement to the hem of the skirt. That's to the width I have down, which is 28 inches. So I'm going to connect it using my straight ruler. Next, I'm going to place my tape from the waistline and I'll measure the front length of the skirt, which is 40 inches. So you can see that's what I'm doing. I'll connect the point and bring in my scissors and cut it out. So you can see how wide our skirt is. Can you see how it looks? So this is what our front piece looks like. It's wide enough. So like I said, you can make it wider. So now this is it. Can you see that at the upper part, I have this bit of sharpness. You can see it's looking high there. So I'm just going to use my straight ruler to connect it to the side so that it aligns well, and I'll trim out the excess I have here. So you want to do this. If not, it will not balance at the upper part. So this is it. If you don't know what to do, just go down by 1 inch and then slant it to this waist. That's to the side of the waist, and it will balance. This is our front skirt. I'll place my fabric now so that we can cut the back piece. So for the back piece, we're going to have to cut one after the other. We can't cut the two sides together because I'm working with Ankara fabric, and Ankara comes in 45 inches in length. So, and that's exactly 45 inches. So it will not be enough to give us our length when we fold on bias. So you can see my fabric is placed on the table in horizontal. That's I'm using the yardage area. I hope we understand that. Okay, so then I'm placing the front piece on it, and you can see I came in from the selvage of the fabric, the one which is closest to me. That's the part facing me. I came in by about 6 inches there. You see, I'm coming in by 6 inches there. This is because the back of the skirt is going to be wider and also longer at the hem here. So from the waistline now, I'm going to come down by the zipper opening. So this is going to be for the zipper opening. I came down by 7 inches. So having marked 7 inches, I'm marking 1 inch for my zip allowance. And then on the waistline here, I'm marking ½ inch. This is to eliminate any form of zipper bulge. So I'm going to connect from this 1 inch to this half inch I have here on the waistline. So this is what our zip allowance looks like at the back, from the waistline down to the zipper opening, which stops at 7 inches. Next, I'm going to use my straight ruler and slant it all the way to the end of the skirt here, and that's to the opening I have, the extra 6 inches I have at the back. Okay, so now that we have done that, the next thing I'm going to do, I'll come down by 5 inches from the hem of the skirt. Remember I said that the back hem of the stem, the back length of the skirt is going to be 45 inches. So I came down by 5 inches. So I'm going to use my straight ruler to still connect to that 5 inches I came down by, so that it aligns with the line I have here at the center back. So next I'm going to curve this line to meet the skirt, the front piece of the skirt at the side. So meaning that it is only longer at the center back, but at the side they are equal. At the sides they are equal because we're going to be joining them together. Please pay attention to that. Okay, so you can see that everything is equal at the side, but at the center back I have 5 inches longer, and then I also have an extra opening at the center back. Okay, so this is it, so that it gives that fullness at the back. So right now, bring in my scissors and cut out our back piece. So, and this is what our back piece looks like, you see. So I'm going to place this on my fabric so that we can cut the second piece of the back. I'll cut out exactly what I have here, and then I'll show us the next thing to do. Okay, so we now have our two back pieces, and this is it. So I'll bring in the front piece and place it over it. So can you see that our skirts are aligned at the side? You want to make sure that yours are equal to at the side. So at the center back, you can see the extra we have, and then also in length, it's increased. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to measure the front slit we're going to have. And this slit is going to be 18 inches long. So from the hem of the skirt, I marked 18 inches from the hem of the skirt, and then you can see I slashed it open. So this is the slit we're going to have here in front. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to cut a facing that we'll be using to turn the slit. You can either use a bias or you use a facing. I will actually advise that you use a facing, because so that when it is opening, you'll see the Ankara print inside and it will give a neater finishing. So here my fabric is on fold to cut out the facing. So I'm going to make sure that the center front of the skirt aligns with the folded part of the fabric I have here. And then from where the slit stops, I'm going to go up by 3 inches. So my slit stopped at 18 inches. I'll go up by extra 3 inches here. And then I'm just going to mark that point. So this is it. So I'll take off my skirt, or the skirt rather, and then I'll curve a shape out. So this is what the facing is going to look like. So just give it any shape you want. If it is curved, straight, whatever it is, but I prefer to have it curved like this. It comes out better. So I'm going to place the facing on the right side of the fabric, right side of the facing, facing right side of the skirt. Okay, I'm going to use my safety pins to secure it. You want to make sure first to notch the center of the facing so that it aligns with the slit, so you don't have more on one side compared to the other. Okay, so I haven't placed it. I'm going to bring in my safety pins and then pin it down to secure it. So after pinning down the facing, next I turn the skirt to the wrong side of the front piece, and I'm drawing half-inch line here at the slit. That's half-inch away from the slit, and then joining it at the upper part to form this sharp triangle shape. This is so that when I stitch, it comes out sharp. I don't want it to have a U shape, so that's why I marked this line. So I'll keep this aside now, and we'll go ahead and cut our cargo pockets. So for the pocket, I want the pocket to be 15 inches wide. That's when it is open. So if it is on fold, that's going to be 7.5 inches, okay? So here my fabric is on fold. I'm going to go ahead and measure 7.5 inches. So having marked 7.5 inches, the length of the pocket is going to be 10 inches in length. So I'll go ahead and connect the point, and I'll be cutting out two of these pockets because we need one for the left and the other for the right. So here we have our two pockets, and this is what they look like. So I'm going to fold the pocket into two, and then at the open side, not the folded part, the folded part is the part facing me. At the open side, I'm going to create a curve at the hem. So to create this curve at the hem, I'm just going to place my tape at the corner here, and then I'll go up by 1 inch and then just create a curve there. So I'll use my scissors to cut out this shape. So the down part of the pocket is going to be curved at the sides, okay? And this is what we have. So next I'm going to take the measurement of what I have here at the side all the way to the center. And whatever I have is going to be times 2 because the pocket is on fold. So here I'm going to measure, and here you can see I have about 16 inches. So this 16 inches, I'm going to multiply it by 2, and that will give me 32 inches. So I'm going to cut a strip of 3 inches, a width of 3 inches and a length of 32 inches. 3 inches in width and then length of 32 inches. Can you see? So I'm folding my fabric so that I can cut for the two sides at the same time. Okay, I haven't cut out the strip. I'm going to divide it into two. So I'm slashing it into two so that one can be for the left and the other will be for the right. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to cut the ropes that we're going to have at the opening of the pocket at the center front. This is to help the pocket, to give it that ruched effect, to be able to gather the pockets. And each of these rope is going to be 15 inches in length, and then unfold is going to be 1 inch, and I need 4 of these strips. Okay, 15 inches in length, 1 inch unfold of four pieces. I'll cut it out and show us the next thing to do. Okay, so here I've cut out my strips. So I'm going to fold 1/2 inch on both sides of the strip, and then I'll fold it into two. So at the end of the day, I now have 1/2 inch. Okay, I'll do that for all 4 of them, and this is it here. I've done that. I have 1/2 inch now. After folding everything, I have 1/2 inch. So I'll pick one side of the strip and then fold in 1/2 inch. This is just basically tucking in the upper, that's the part that will be outside, to give it that neatness. You don't want to leave it rough. So I'll fold in that 1/2 inch and then stitch the pocket, stitch the strip close, because we're going to be inserting this into the pocket. That's like the hemming allowance of the pocket, so that we can achieve that ruch effect, so that we can gather the pocket. So now for the pocket, I'm folding 1/2 inch, and I'll fold 1 inch at the upper part. That's, I'm hemming the pocket now at the upper part, and then I'm going to press this part down. Having pressed it down, I'm going to open it up now. So that means I now know the beginning part of the pocket. Then next, I'm going to get the midpoint of the pocket by folding into two. You can see I'll fold into two now. This is the center line here, and then I'm going to mark this point. Can you see this part? I'm going to have a buttonhole that will open so that we can insert these strips that I cut, this 15 inches strip I cut. This will actually help us to achieve that gathered, that's to be able to tie the pocket. And that is what I have done here already. So the essence of hemming the upper part or folding the upper part is so that you know where the beginning of the pocket will be, so that you don't stitch that side. I hope we understand that. So that you don't turn the side to the wrong side. That's just basically what I'm trying to say. So when I come back, we'll see what I'm talking about. So right now you can see I've created the buttonhole, and I'm using my seam ripper to open the buttonhole. So this will allow something pass through. That's to allow the strip pass through, and I've hemmed the top of the pocket. So the buttonhole is on the right side. This is so that we can insert our strips. And I've done the same thing here as well. So I'm going to use my safety pin to insert the ruch, that's the rope I have here. Okay, I'm going to hook the safety pin to the side I didn't stitch. Now remember, I folded one side, I tucked in one side. So the part that is still rough, I'm going to put the safety pin there, and then I'm going to insert it into the opening I have here now. That's the buttonhole. Okay, so I'll insert it, and that's towards one towards the left and then the other towards the right. Remember, I have four of them, so and they are all 15 inches in length. So once I get to the end of the pocket, I'm just going to stop there and then remove my safety pin, and then you need to use a pin to secure that point because I'll be stitching that part down. So I'll do the same thing on the other side. I'll also insert it using the hole, and this is it. You want to make sure that the rope, that there's the part of the rope that comes outside, they are equal. You don't want one longer than the other. Okay, so and then I'll take this to my sewing machine and stitch down the sides. This is so that the pocket, so that when you are trying to close up the pocket, that's like drag the rope, it will not remove. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. You don't want it to remove, so I'm going to stitch the sides. Okay, so I'll stitch this side and stitch the other side as well. So next I'm going to fold this strip, the 3 inches strip I cut out. I'll fold the hem first. That's, I'll hem the one side and the other side, and then I'll stitch it round the pockets following the curved shape. But this is how I'm going to do it. I'm not going to be placing it right side facing right side. This is because I won't be weaving it. So I'll place it wrong side facing wrong side, and then I'll stitch on 1/4 inch. Very tiny. I'll stitch it round and then flip it to the right side facing right side, and then I'll stitch on my proper 1/2 inch sewing allowance. This is so that it's neat inside because I'm not going to be weaving it. But if you're going to weave yours, you can just stitch it right side facing right side and then weave it out. You don't want to leave it rough. So this is what my pocket looks like after sewing the strip around it. And this is what the second one looks like also. Can you see now I'm dragging the rope and it's gathering at the upper part of the pocket. Okay, so the next thing we want to do now is to place the pockets on the skirt. So here for the skirt, I've already shaped the skirt, and I've also turned the slit area using my facing. I don't have light right now, so that's why I haven't woven that part yet. I'll weave it when there's light and give it a good press so that it's well relaxed. So I've stitched the slit like I already said. So I also went ahead to shape the sides using my 1 inch sewing allowance. You can see I've done that too on the other side. I did French finishing for it. So it's either you weave it or you do French finishing so that your work is neat. So right now I have the center back open. So now this is it. I'm going to fold the skirt into two like this, and I have the center back facing me. So here at the side seam where I already joined the skirt at the side, I'm going to come down by 1 inch below the hip line. Now the hip line of my client is 11 inches. That's from waist to hip line is 11 inches. So I'll come down by extra 1 inch. So that's 10 inches. So I'll mark on 10 inches. Take note that I'm marking on the side seam. That's the side where I join the front and back of the skirt together. So having marked on this 10 inches, I'll mark 3.5 inches towards the front, and then I'll mark 3.5 inches towards the back side like this. So the width I have here is 7 inches in total, okay? Can you see? So next I'm going to measure the length of the pocket. Now the length of the pocket, it depends on the length I have here. So I'm just going to take the measurement I have here after stitching the pocket. And this is the length. I think I have 8 inches. So I'm going to measure 8 inches downwards like this, still on the side seam line. So I'll measure 8 inches downwards. So at this point where I have the 8 inches downwards, which is the length of the pocket, I'm going to measure 4.5 inches on both sides. At the upper part, I measured 3.5 on both sides. Here, I'm measuring 4.5 inches on both sides. This is because this skirt is a flare skirt, so you don't want to make the pocket straight. You want it to follow the shape of the flare at the down part. So meaning that the down part of the pocket is going to be wider than the upper part. And this is to actually help the rope gather more, to give the that's when you draw the string of the rope, it will come out more at the upper part, okay? So now having done that, I mark 4.5 inches down and on both sides. So I'm placing my pockets here, Now, placing it on the 3.5 inches I have upwards, I folded the pocket in by half inch, just fold a little in. So at this point now, you want to separate the sides of the skirt. That's you want to open up the skirt so that you are pinning only on one side. Okay, so this is it. So I'm going to fold the pocket now. Can you see on this side also? Just going to fold, just tuck in half inch, okay, and then pin this the pocket on the mark, on the points I marked. Remember that the length is exactly the length of the pocket, so it's just going to be easy. Just fold in your allowance. You don't want to leave it rough, you fold it in. So remember our pocket is 15 inches in width when we're cutting. So that means that the pocket is going to have small, small pleats. I'm just going to pleat it. This is to give that fullness on that cargo. You don't want to make the pocket flat. So I'm going to pleat the down part. So at this side also, I'll pin, fold in half inch and then pin it to the 3.5 inches I have on this side. And also keep tucking in half inch round, okay? If you watch closely what I'm doing, you will understand it perfectly. So I'll just keep pinning my half inch round. You want to take your time here because it has to sit very well. So this is what our pocket is looking like already. So you can see how I'm folding my half inch inwards. So I'm just taking my time to do this. I don't want to fast forward this place so that we can see what I'm doing. So here at the down part of the pocket where I marked 4.5 inches on both sides, that's a total of 9. So I'm going to pleat the down part of the pocket there. This is so that it fits in because I'll be stitching the down part completely. I'm stitching on 3 sides now. I'll stitch the side, the down and the other side. So the upper part is going to be open. So that upper part is the part that will have the rope that we can draw, to gather it and open it up depending on how you want it. So this is it. So exactly what I've done here is what I'll repeat on the other side. First, I'll come down by 10 inches from the waistline, mark 3.5 inches on both sides of the side same line, and then place the pocket. So can you see how our pocket is looking? Can you see? So this is what we have. Can you see the pocket is really coming out beautiful already? If this were to be a plain fabric, I'm sure we'll be able to see it more clearer. So that's that for the pocket. So I'm going to take this to my sewing machine and then stitch the pocket. That I'll be top stitching the pocket on the side of the skirt. So that's it. So I'll go do that and then fix the zipper at the center back and then also hem the down part. Then I'll come back and show us the next thing to do. Okay, so here we are. We're done. So I'm done sewing the pockets, and this is what we have. So I'm dragging the rope to tie it. You can tie it, you can leave it open, whichever one you want. And here is our center back. I've gone ahead to, I left the zipper opening of 7 inches and then I stitched down all the way down to the hem, and then I went ahead to fix the zipper at the center back. And for the slit, you can see I've woven it and I've also ironed it. I used hemming gum to hold down the slit, and then I also hemmed the down part of the flare. I wove it before hemming the down part of the flare. So the last thing we're going to do on this skirt is to sew the band to the skirt. I cut a band of 2 inches on fold and I slashed it into 2 and stitched half inch upwards. I folded half inch down. The regular way we sew our band, this is what it looks like. And you see I folded half inch on both sides of the band. So I'm going to place the band now on the wrong side of the skirt, leaving about 1.5 inches out. Can you see? This is because we're going to have a skirt hook on this band, okay? Okay, so I'll go stitch the band and then we'll come back and draft our crop top. Okay, it's time for us to cut the crop top. And to cut the crop top, I'll cut out the fabric I'll be using to draft, and I'll be drafting the front and back together. So to determine the amount of fabric I'll be working with, I'll divide the bust circumference by 4 plus 2 inches, and then I'll cut that out in 2 places. The bust circumference divided by 4, and here the bust I'm working with is 39 inches. 39 divided by 4, that's going to be 9 3/4 plus 2 inches, so that is 11 3/4. So I'll cut out 11 3/4, and the length I'll be working with is 19 inches. The length of the crop top is 19 inches plus hemming allowance of 2 inches. So that's 21 inches. So I'll cut that out in two places and show us the next thing to do. Okay, I haven't cut out the fabric. The first thing I'm going ahead to do is to draw the starting line, which is the shoulder line. From the folded part, I'm going to mark half of the shoulder measurement, and then I'll mark the neck width still on the shoulder line. I'll come down by 1 inch from the shoulder measurement to get the shoulder slant, and this is it. So next I'll come down by the armhole measurement. To get the armhole measurement, divide the bust by 6 plus 1.5, and that's the armhole measurement, which is now the chest line. Okay, so on the chest line, I marked half of the shoulder measurement also, and then I connected it to the shoulder line like this. So the next thing I'm going ahead to do is to mark the length of the top, which is 19 inches, and what I have left after it is my 2 inches for hemming allowance. So here on the chest line, I'm going to mark the bust measurement divided by 4 plus 2 inches for sewing allowance. So 1 inch is for ease, and then 1 inch is the actual sewing allowance. Then on the waistline, whatever I have on the bust measurement, I'm just going to subtract 1 inch from it. I won't be using the waist measurement on the waistline. So what I have on the bust line now, which is the bust measurement divided by 4 plus 2, I subtracted 1 inch from it and I entered it on the waistline. I hope we get that. So here on the armhole line, I got the midpoint of the armhole. I went in by ½ inch first, and I also went in by 3/4 of an inch because we're drafting the front and back together. So for the ½ inch mark I went in by, I'm connecting now to the shoulder tip and then curving the armhole out. And then the 3/4 inch I have inside, which is going to be the front of the front armhole, I marked also and I'm connecting to the armhole. So the first one is the front armhole, the second is the back armhole. Okay, so I went ahead to connect the points, and this is it. So at the hem here, whatever I have there, I'll just go out by ½ inch. This is so that when we fold it, it can align. So you can see what I'm doing here at the hemming allowance. Okay, so now I'll come to the neckline. The neck width I'm working with is 3 inches. The neck depth for the back is 1 inch, and the neck depth for the front is same 3 inches. So the neck depth for the back is 1 inch. I'm connecting to the 1 inch, and then the neck depth is 3 inches for the front, and this is it. So you can see our crop top is really simple. So I'll go ahead and cut out the neckline, and then cut out that's the back neckline is what I cut out, and then I'll cut out the back armhole also, since the front armhole is deeper. Okay, if you have been watching my videos, you should be used to this by now. So I'm cutting the side also, and this is it. So this is me folding the hemming allowance so that it aligns here on the side, so that when we fold, everything will sit well. And this is it. So can you see? So this is what we have. So then next I'll go ahead and take out the shoulder slant. So now I'll separate the front from the back so that we can now cut the front neckline and also the front armhole. So we are done with the cutting of the top. So we're done with the cutting of the top. The next thing I'm going to do now is to cut the basic sleeve, and I won't be adding that to this video because I've done several videos on how to draft and cut a basic sleeve. So this is to avoid making this video unnecessarily long. So this is a short basic sleeve. So if you haven't seen my video on how to cut and draft and cut a basic sleeve, I'll be dropping the link in the description box or in the comment section so that you can watch and learn how to cut a basic sleeve. Okay, so here I cut this fabric that I'll be using for the placket. This fabric is 4 inches in width, and in length it is 21 inches, which is the length of the top. So you can see I folded ½ inch on both sides, and then I folded it into two. I folded ½ inch on both sides, then I folded into two. Okay, and then I have this short one, this small one. This is about 7 inches, and this is 2 inches in width, Okay, and then in length is about 7 inches. So this is the other side of the placket. I folded half inch on both sides and I folded into two, so I have half inch on this side. And for the other one, after folding half inch on both sides, you can see I have about 1.5 inches open. Okay, so here is our front piece of our top, and I've also gone ahead to cut the facing, and I've stitched the facing round the neckline, and this is what we have. So first I'm going to use my hemming gum to hold down the facing. This is to iron the facing so that it sits intact because we're going to slash this center front open because of the placket we're going to have in front. So you can see I'm placing my hemming gum in between the lining, in between the facing and the fabric. So I'm just going to press it down so that it sits really well. And I'll get the midpoint of the center front. So I'm going to iron it just like this so that I have the crease line at the center front. So I haven't gotten the crease line. The next thing I'm going to do is to come down by 6 inches from the neck depth. So this is how open the placket is going to be. I'll place my tip from the neck depth and come down by 6 inches. So here I have the crease line. On the sides of the crease line, I'm going to mark 1/4 inch on both sides of the crease line. So 1/4 inch on both sides, that's half inch in total, okay? So I'll bring in my straight ruler and then connect the point. Just draw a straight line there. Can you see? Take note that I mark 1/4 inch on both sides away from the crease line. That's the center line. So I'm now slashing on the crease line. Before I get to the end of the crease line, half inch away, I'm going to notch it diagonally on both sides. So you don't want to just cut it. Can you see I have like a triangle shape, okay? At the center. That's at the end of the slash I have there. So now I'll bring in this strip that we'll be using for this side. This is the one that will be under. Okay, so I'll place the fabric for the placket on the wrong side of the fabric, open the half-inch seam allowance that I'm ironed already, and I stitched on that 1/4 inch I marked. And now I'll flip it to the right side. Can you see? And then fold this half inch I left at the upper part here. You want to make sure to leave this half inch at the upper part. This is because you're going to need to tuck it in. And then I'll fold it this way and just make a stitch here. I'll stitch it down. So this notch I have here, that diagonal cut I have here, is what is allowing the placket to come to the front. So if you don't create that notch, it will not allow it come to the front. Just watch carefully, you will understand what I am saying. So now I'll take this one also to my machine. That's the bigger one now, which is going to be on the right. So I'll place it also and stitch on the same 1/4 inch that I marked. And for the other side, can you see that I have top stitched it? And this is the bigger one now. That's the one that is going to overlap and cover the other side. So I've also stitched it on with the 1/4 inch I notched. So and you can see how it's overlapping on the other one. And I also left half inch at the upper part. So I'm just folding that half inch in like this. Just fold it in, and then I'll bring in my pressing iron and press it also. So just press it so that it sits well. Once I've pressed it, I'm going to take this to my sewing machine and then make a top stitch on top of the placket. So I'll stitch it. I'm going to stitch the placket starting from the upper part. I'll sew it all the way down to the hem of the top. You can see that the placket goes all the way down. Remember I said that I cut exactly the length of the top, which is 21 inches. So you can see the excess I have at the down part. I'll be trimming it out. So I'll stitch from the up part and then take it round, just bring it down, and then I will have to come and make a turn at this point. At this point, this part where I notched, can you see? I'm going to top stitch that triangle shape I have there. You want to make sure to top stitch it so that, can you see how I'm pushing it in? So I'll make sure to top stitch it so that it's really neat, and then I'll sew the placket on it. Just create a turn like this and then create that 7 shape. It's just going to look like a shape 7. That's just what I'm trying to say. Okay, if you look at the direction of my fingers, you should understand what I am talking about. So this is what our placket looks like. Can you see from the wrong side is looking very neat? Can you see? Very neat. So by stitching that part close, so now you can see when you open the placket, it's holding it down. So that's why I said you stitch and make a turn and finish up at that side. So right now I'm going ahead to join the shoulders together. Now join the shoulders, the front and back shoulders, fix the basic sleeve, and then shape it on 1 inch, which is the sewing allowance I added. Remember, I used 2 inches and I said 1 inch is for ease and 1 inch is my actual sewing allowance. So I'll stitch them on both sides, hem it, and then I'll give it a good press, and I'll show us the final outcome of our skirt and our top. So this is our skirt and this is the top. Can you see? The crop top is topping, the skirt is skirting. Everything came out really beautiful. I hope you enjoyed watching this video and you have learned something from this video. If you did, make sure to like this video, share this video with your friends, and do not forget to subscribe to my channel. So I'm going to wear this on the mannequin so that we can see what it looks like. Thank you.